So, hello, GBC friends, and welcome back to another exciting episode of my GBC podcast. My name is Pantea, and I'm your host for today's episode, in which I'm hoping to have some fun conversations about student life here at GBC. So, if you are a new student joining GBC for the first time this semester, or if you are a returning student but want to learn more about opportunities to get more involved at school, this episode is for you. So today I have two very, very special guests that I actually already know. They're both my colleagues and we know each other. And frankly, I love working with these two. And I'm really hoping that they feel the same about me. So hi, Ellie and Aliza, how are you doing?
Hello, Panta. I'm super excited to be here with you today in this podcast. I am super, super glad that I just finished my program and excited that I have a lot of things to do now. And also with Aliza, and you have been a really great colleagues, and I've had a really fun experience with you. What do you think, Aliza?
Yes, Ellie, we're gonna miss you so much when you're off graduating and on to the next phase of your life. I wish you weren't going, but I'm so happy for you too. I'm excited for the summer. I'm gonna be around. I'm gonna be on campus. Looking forward to my first spring term as a student here. So I'm looking forward to all the fun things that happening at George Brown.
Amazing. Thank you both. And yeah, if you didn't realize till now, the fun fact is that this is Ellie's last day working as an ambassador, which is how we are colleagues from our other job. But yeah, thank you both for joining me today for this podcast. Maybe let's get started with a little bit of an introduction. I'm going to start with Aliza. Do you want to briefly introduce yourself?
Sure. Yeah, my name is Aliza, and I'm in the Recreation Management and Gerontology program. I'm going into my second year in the fall. It's a diploma program, and I'm based out of the Waterfront campus.
Amazing. Thanks, Ellie. And Ellie, who are you? What do you do? You want to introduce yourself as well?
Yes, of course. I am Elizabeth Hernandez from Mexico. I am 27 years old. And I have a lot of experience in different fields, but basically what I like doing is business. I am a businesswoman. I will love to keep doing this, but also I've been in the education field. So I was a teacher back in Mexico. I would love to give classes here in Toronto as well. If that's the chance, I will take it. And I've studied project management here at George Brown, the B415 project management program. And I'm a student life orientation ambassador today, but tomorrow I won't be. So this is sad.
Oh my God, don't say it like that. You will always be an orientation ambassador in heart, even if you don't really have the title anymore.
True.
Amazing. Thank you both. Okay, so let's get started with one question that I have for Ellie, actually. So you mentioned that you are an international student. Similar to me, I'm actually an international student as well. Maybe do you want to explain a little bit about your experience? How has it been so far as an international student? Are you adapting to the weather, the language barriers, making friends? How has it been for you so
far? It's been fun, but it also has been tough. Adapting to the weather, I am still not adapted to the weather. I've been really sick on the winter. I got sick for 1 or 2 months. And I think it's because my lungs were not prepared for this weather. And I was taking care, dressing with a lot of jackets and, everything for the weather, but it didn't work. So I got really sick. I think that's the only part that has been tough because language barriers, sometimes I'm not that good at English, but I try to use my hands to express a lot. And I think people gets that. And everyone here in Toronto, the whole community is really, really good with internationals. They always try to understand. They are super kind. The other day, my fiance got stuck on the traffic with the snow. And everyone there was super kind. They all got together oh, we need salt. Oh, I'm going to go for some tools. So I think the community is really good, and language barriers, I didn't find it tough so far. And making friends, I came without friends. My fiance was here, but I didn't have not a single friend. And I use Bumble to meet people from everywhere here in Toronto. And now that's the friends I have, and also the George Brown friends as well. So George Brown was really useful for making friends, the workshops, the events, and this platform too. Bumble and George Brown are my best friends for making best friends.
I know Bumble for making friends. I've honestly never used it, but I've heard about it a lot, especially from Ellie herself. And I'm very much planning on using Bumble for making friends. So I feel like that's a very fun experience to just meet new people out of nowhere. It's definitely a great experience for international students as well. And now let's talk a little bit about the student life at George Brown. Beginning with you two, you both work as orientation ambassadors, and that's how I know of yours. So what do you exactly do as ambassadors?
Yeah, so as ambassadors, we host a lot of workshops throughout the year. Even though we're called orientation ambassadors, we actually do things throughout the term. So we have a lot of soft skill building workshops like teamwork, presentation skills, how to be a better leader, how to network. So definitely we have them, and students are welcome to come at any time. We also help with if there's new systems happening at the college. We'll help with transitioning and providing education about that, giving tips all the time about how to navigate being a student. It's not easy. There's so much we have to face and go through. So just how to cope with everything. And then also just giving resources and navigating to other departments. There's so much that the college offers. So just making sure students know what they can take advantage of. I would say it's a huge role of a student ambassador. And of course, we help with the really fun events, campus days, where they're in person, we're giving workshops, we're giving out, things, swag, and that kind of thing too. It's a super fun role. Ellie, what about you? What do you like about it?
I love the workshops. I love connecting with people. I love when sometimes they ask me through Instagram, like, Ellie, what do you think about this? And I think it's really important to be there for people that needs, support when they are from another countries, or even if they are from here, but they just want to have someone to talk about George Brown topics, classes, clubs or groups that we have here at George Brown. So I really feel glad that I can be there for them. And I would love to have someone like that if I am joining to a new college or university. I think it's important to always show support.
For sure. Yeah, I definitely agree. And I think this is like a little bit of a cliche question, but now that it's your last name, Ellie, do you have a favorite memory from this job?
My favorite memory was one day that I was taking pictures with the group, and we all decided to carry Pantea.
Oh my God, no.
That's my favorite memory because we were all, in the same channel, trying to carry you. And I think it was super fun, but it is a good memory. I am going to miss this team. It is a really, really nice team. I've learned a lot from Pantea, Aliza, Peter, Aranza. She was the first one that I've met in this team. So this team, I think it's support as a team, and we give support, but we're also supporting each other. So that's what I love about this team.
For sure, yeah. And we're going to miss you so much. Honestly, Ellie has been a very big part of this team and the team in general. Like, we really have fun working with each other. And it's a great job. You're working on campus. You're doing a lot of fun activities. So I guess my next question, which would be a follow-up of this, is if students want to get a job similar to what you do, how can they do that?
The first thing that they have to do would be to go to Stubio, and there's a part there, additional student services, where it says GBC careers. We can click on that and we will see a lot of job postings, on-campus jobs and out-of-campus jobs. So when I joined to this community and this college, I knew that I wanted to be part of this and to this team. So I applied. And what I had to do was to record the video saying why I wanted to be an ambassador. And of course, the resume, the cover letter. And one tip that we can give for you is to use career services for this, so you can have a good knowledge, experience about this, and get the support you need to get the job you want. That's my advice. What do you think, Aliza?
Yeah, just to add to that, I think there's just so many interesting opportunities on campus. Just like, for example, so my background, I've switched careers. I'm back in school after a very long time, but my background is also more in the education field. But I'm learning how to use social media, and I'm learning how to, edit and record, be more natural, and even my presentation skills. Like, I was so nervous presenting, and I still obviously get very nervous, but it's just really helping with those skills. And the really nice thing about student jobs is that your employer is the college, so they're very understanding of your schedule. They prioritize you being a student first. For example, I had placement, so I had to take a few weeks off, and that was no problem at all, just to let them know. They're super understanding. So that's why I really recommend at least checking out some of the campus jobs. Not only are they really diverse and interesting positions, but also you'll have a very understanding boss as well.
For sure. Yeah, I definitely really like that about our jobs as well. It's that like they check your schedule because they know you're a student because it's a on-campus job. And based on that, if you're not available, that's totally understandable for that. But if you're working outside of the campus, that's definitely not a benefit that you're getting. Also, if you're an international student, an extra tip for you is that the hours that you work on campus does not count towards your 20 hours that you can work per week, which as an international student, I mean, now there is a different law about it. So definitely make sure that you're checking that out. International students work more hours right now. But in general, you're not allowed to work more than 20 hours per week. But if you're working on campus, you can work more than that because those hours don't count. So besides the workshops that you host, are there any other opportunities that you can suggest for us to be more involved at school? Any student clubs, any student groups, or anything that you've been a part of before?
Sure. Yeah. So like I mentioned, I'm coming back to school after a lot of years off. And I found the first time I went through school, I was just really stressed. I didn't make the time to get involved with campus life. So that's something I told myself coming back to school as a mature student. I really want to get involved. So I've tried a bunch of things. Some of my favorite is casino night, hosted by Student Association. It was so cool. They actually had professional, I guess, I don't know, I guess they're called dealers, like professional poker dealers. And they set up the tables, and they had blackjack going on. They had poker, They had war. Yeah. And it was like, it felt like a casino. It was so much fun. And it was at the Castellana campus. And then also just tons of resources. So for example, I was really nervous, and I know I have a history of being very stressed out. So I went for counseling right away. Like, I signed up for a counselor, and I see them every 2 weeks. It's very regular. She's amazing. And it's all included as part of my student tuition. So that's really nice too. And I do plan on using career services eventually, as I apply for jobs outside of campus and post graduation. I do want to use that. But I worked for the Tutoring and Learning Center a while ago, and they are so good, especially if you're practicing your English. They have an excellent conversation club, which I recommend. You can do one-on-one peer tutoring for English, math, accounting. You can do online sessions. You can just book something. So every week you see your tutor and you go through some stuff, some concepts or some writing that you need checked. So I really recommend that too. Lots of services at the college.
For sure. Yeah. Amazing. The casino night specifically sounded like so much fun. I didn't actually participate in it, but I saw some videos online on social accounts and it seemed like a lot of fun. How about you, Ellie? Have you done anything that seemed very fun to you on campus or anything provided by GBC?
Yes, there are a lot of events provided by a student association, and they have, matches, games. So I think as students, we should all take advantage of this type of events because it's the type of events where you can meet lots of people, to network, but also to make them your new friends. Orientation team, of course, I am working there, but it has been really useful. Before I was actually working here, I went to campus days, to all of the campus days, even it wasn't my campus. I went there and I've met a lot of people. And it's nice that Aliza is saying that we have the Tutoring Learning Center I think I should go to practice my English because, in Spanish, I mix words sometimes, even in Spanish. And in English, do you know what it's bachelorette, Pantea?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was saying the other day, I studied a bachelorette on business instead of a bachelor's.
Oh my God. Oh my
And
God. That's
also, I mixed. I said, "Oh, they put the vacuum on me instead of the vaccine." Instead of
Oh, these are honest mistakes. Your English is great, but for sure, like that's another great opportunity to improve your English as well. But I think you're already great, so don't worry about it. We all make mistakes.
yeah, but it's nice that you're mentioning the Tutoring Learner Center for
For
this.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how about the clubs? Like I think Aliza, you mentioned that you've been a part of some clubs. Do you want to talk about that maybe?
Yeah, absolutely. And the cool thing about George Brown is that if your club that you want isn't around, you can actually start a club, and it's not that hard. You just need to do a bit of networking. You set an application, you get a budget. So, that's something you can definitely work towards during your years at George Brown. But in terms of clubs, I'm part of two. I'm part of Foosball Club because I love foosball. It's a very niche club, but honestly, there's like over 100 members. And we have tournaments, and there's amazing prizes. It's very organized. It's so much fun. And then the other club I'm part of is Supper Club, which is super fun too. So what we do is we meet in the kitchen at George Brown at Waterfront Campus, and we spend about 3 hours preparing a meal together, full course, appetizer, main course, and dessert. And then we all eat together. And it's free. There's no cost at all. It's all covered. And you get to meet a lot of people, and you get to cook with them, and it's super fun. I recommend those clubs. Yeah.
Wow.
But if
That's
students want to go to the Student Association website, they can find a list of a bunch of clubs.
For sure. And the thing that also I found very interesting that Aliza mentioned is that like you can start your own club and you get a budget for it. You have to plan everything. You have to get the people together. So I think that's also like a great thing to put in your resume as well, to be like, I started a club, I kind of managed it, I got the budget, and I learned how to manage that budget. So definitely a great experience for people to get involved with. And we also have the Student Leadership Academy, or the volunteer squad as well. And that's a great experience for becoming a volunteer. And again, Aliza, I think you have been a volunteer, and how has been your experience as a volunteer so far?
Yeah, it was really great. So before I even started at the college, I did training to be part of the volunteer squad. So it was an amazing training, just talking about different opportunities on campus, but they also have amazing volunteer opportunities off campus. So for example, I'm going to be volunteering on Friday at something called a Planted Expo, which is a big plant-based expo coming to Exhibition Place. And I'll be helping to set up, and then I'll get free admission for the whole weekend. So I'm really excited about that.
Cool.
But yeah, and they even volunteer at like the marathon, the dragon boat race, Pride, TIFF. So there's some really good opportunities for volunteering through George Brown, through the volunteer squad. And then of course, our internal events like campus days, events like pizza nights, movie nights. So I recommend at least just doing the training, getting the emails. And then if you see something that catches your eye, go for it. It's the best way to make friends. I really feel if you're, to reduce isolation and that kind of thing, just go ahead and volunteer and meet people and, have some fun.
For sure. Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. And I guess like we talk a little bit about like the fun stuff that you can do on campus or off campus. But maybe like I would think that there are also activities that you can do that are also going to help your academic life and like your education as well. For example, we have the Start GBC, which is a program for entrepreneurship. And basically you can go there and they have different courses, different events and conferences where you can participate in and learn more about how you can become an entrepreneur, which I think is very interesting because a lot of us coming to college, we're hoping to finally start a business after graduation or a while after that. So we definitely suggest that everybody takes advantage of that and go on GBC website. There are a lot of resources there. So make sure that you are checking all of those out as well. So let's also talk more about academics. So can you tell me a little bit more about your course load? How do you manage to study and work at the same time? Because you both have on-campus jobs and you do volunteer activities and everything. How do you manage your time?
That's such a good question and something that's really relevant. So I'll just briefly go over my schedule. I had 3 days of class. One was in person, two were online, and then 2 days, 2 full days of placement, plus a job. It was really, really, really busy. It's very hard to manage. But I think the best thing to do is to be really organized, to have a planner, an agenda, to set alarms, and to really schedule things. We have a really good workshop too on time management where we give a lot of tips. So if you want to attend that and check it out as well, because it's definitely something that we can always improve on.
Amazing. Sure. How about you, Ellie? What do you do?
I had this semester 2 days of classes and 3 days of work. So
Wow.
I was free, but then at the end, I had a lot of group projects and assignments. So everything got together. But what I usually do is just like as Aliza said, if you have an agenda, you have to have your priorities and try to have a checklist. Okay, I have to do this by 8 a.m. I have to do this by 9. And with your checklist, you will have everything well. And also, if I have an important meeting, for example, this podcast, I just put my alarm to remember me and on calendar to remember me 1 day before the actual event. So I think this is pretty useful as well. We have a lot of technology for this, so we have to take advantage of this as well.
For sure. And there are like different techniques, I guess, that is a lot like talked about in the workshop that Aliza just mentioned as well. But a book that I read that I think is a great idea to read as well is Atomic Habits. I'm sure a lot of people have read it. It's a very trendy book. But I think that's also very helpful in learning how to like build good habits to be able to actually manage your time. And how about like your class environments and your professors? How's those? Is it like very formal, informal? How are your classes like in general?
Yeah, the classes are amazing. The faculty is so informed. A lot of them used to work in the field before, so they have that background understanding of what the job is like. And then they also have connections still with alumni, with their old employers. So they're still very much connected to the field. They're extremely approachable. I can tell that they're really passionate about seniors. I'm studying recreation and gerontology, so it's seniors. And they're always emailing back. They're always following up on things. Whenever I have a question, they really encourage questions. And it's definitely more informal. I did university before this, and I just found things are just so much more practical in college in terms of my assignments are directly related to my placements. Whereas I did co-op in university and it was not related at all. There was no interlink between theoretical knowledge and applied knowledge. Whereas here, they teach us the theory, they give us an assignment, and we have to actually initiate it in the field. So that's a huge difference too that I'm noticing. But overall, I just feel really supported. I feel like the teachers really care about us here.
For sure. Yeah. How has your experience been, Ellie?
It has been great. The professors, some of them doesn't even like to be called professor. They just want us to be called them by their name. For example, Veronica. And this class with Veronica actually has been really useful for us because it's a simulation class. So it is hands-on and it is with teams. And just like any job, you don't decide your team members. So she assigned us in teams and it was really useful. We learned a lot about how to work in teams, but also how to work with project management simulation program. It was really useful and it was informal, but formal at the same time. Some classes were to present our advances and our results from these simulations. So I think I had the best of both worlds, formal and informal.
And I have like honestly the same experience. Like it's very informal and the professors have been super supportive and it's a lot of hands-on learning. So I think that's good for all of us studying at George Brown. Amazing. So almost getting there, close to the end, but I have 2 more questions for you. Number 1, do you have any final tips for our students? From students to students.
Yes, I think for me, the best study tip I can give for them is to enjoy college and make a lot of friends, but also to take it more chill, because some students take it to stress levels. I used to be one of this student type, but
For sure.
now I am getting better with this organizing that I am having with the agenda, my phone, calendar, everything is getting great. And I think you learn more when you do it by passion and when you do it because you want to, instead of doing it because you want a good grade. Like at the end, the grade doesn't matter. Of course, it is important, but the most important thing for me, it is that you learn and that you have, the connections, you have your networking team on your classes and on GBC events. I think this is more important out of anything else.
For sure.
Yeah, and similar to that, I feel like it's so important to take advantage of the services offered at George Brown College. There's so much that is offered, just learn about it. For example, we have the SNAP program. If you need some support with food, if you're food insecure, definitely check that out. There's the Black Student Support Network. There's Indigenous support. Really try to seek these different things. Everyone here is here to make sure you're successful as a student. And even in terms of recreation, becoming a more well-rounded person, trying new things, trying new clubs, seeing how, maybe you'll find something you never even thought you'd like just by trying it out. And I think that leads back to the volunteer squad, because you're kind of forced to try new things through volunteering as well to make you, just to help you grow in more ways than just your academics.
Amazing. Yeah, I absolutely agree. And thank you both for your amazing tips. Very practical. And my last question is there anywhere our students can learn more about the orientation team and the activities they can be involved in?
Yes, of course. The best place for sure, it is our Instagram account, which is instagram.com. gbc.orientation. In this Instagram account, we will be providing information about our upcoming workshops, and also the georgebrown.ca main website. It has a lot of information about all other areas on campus. We should also follow them on Instagram, like the Student Life, SAGVC, which is the Student Association. This is really useful. I have my notifications on for this one because sometimes they are sharing with all the students important things like the matches. I was telling you about the football matches. It's really cheap. It's super cheap, but it is usually sold out like after 1 hour or something. So that's why I have my notifications on for that one. And also the orientation. It's really important to meet people. So the orientation team is not only for new students, but also for the actual students.
For sure.
Yeah, and just to add to that, on our Blackboard, we can have links to our online orientation. So if you can't make it to your academic orientation, or you can't make it to any other orientation, you can access it at your own time. This is something I did before I started as well. I just went through it to learn more about how Blackboard works and how other systems work. So I definitely recommend that as well.
Amazing. Perfect. So thank you so much, Ellie and Aliza, for sharing your experience with our listeners. It was really great talking to you both, and I'm very excited to have had you as my first guest. And I hope our listeners have learned a thing or two about life as a George Brown student, and hopefully you're all feeling more confident about choosing GBC. If you are a new student and if you have already been with us, I'm hoping that you learn more about what you can benefit from in our college. So thanks again for joining us, everyone, and make sure to follow our Instagram, GBC Orientation's Instagram, and have a great week until we come back together next week. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was so fun.
It was so much fun. Thank you for listening.